What's up, NFL fans? Welcome back to another episode of The Way We See It. I'm Jeff Hartman, joined by Wesley Coleman. What's up, Wesley? How are you?
I'm great, man. It's football season's over.
Yeah,
Here we go.
yeah. It's a bummer. It is. It
First,
is a real big
we
bummer.
we survived the first Sunday without football in many months.
Yeah, and there hasn't been a lot of news, but there has been something, and there's always something going on in the National Football League, whether it's a team like the Steelers where their legends are beefing with one another in the offseason, or maybe it's the fact that the NFL is filing a grievance against the Players Association about their NFLPA report cards, and that's where I want to start today's podcast. For those that don't know, I don't know, it's probably been like the last 3 or 4 years. I don't know the exact number.
I think it started in 2022.
Okay, so the NFLPA had basically pulled the players at the end of the season, asking them to grade out everything about the organization, from coaching staff, training staff, facilities, lunchroom, food, travel, family, all of it. They took all those findings and they published them on their website. And it was really interesting to see how players viewed their coaching staff, the ownership, their facilities, everything. Well, the owners, because, they don't like to be criticized, they said, we're not doing this anymore. They filed a grievance, which was actually, they said that was a breach of the collective bargaining agreement. I don't know in what way, but the NFLPA has said, look, we get it. We're still going to do it. And we're still going to report these report cards to our players in the union. We just can't make them public. Wesley, what was your thoughts on when you saw this?
Yeah. So I'll say that I always thought it. I think me and you are on opposite ends here. I think the NFLPA, they had an agreement about these report cards. It was part of, they agreed that the teams and the players would be polled and have these questions. It was also in the agreement in writing that they would not be put out to the public. Because so the NFLPA was violating their agreement by releasing these to the public. The NFL agreed to the surveys, wants them to happen, wants the report cards to go, wants players to get the feedback, wants players to know what the feedback of all 32 teams is and where each thing grades, and wants to make changes over it. What they didn't want is any of this being released to the public. And I mean, it was in the contract to not release it to the public. So I think the grievance wasn't to ever try to stop the report cards. This isn't for public consumption.
Why are they just doing it now, though? That's my question. Like, these have been publicly released for 4 years and have been a huge talking point amongst the media and criticisms, rightfully so, about a lot of the things that I just outlined. Why do you think it took this long for them to say, okay, you can stop doing that?
I think they've probably let them know each time, like, hey, you're not supposed to be releasing these to the public. Hey, you're not supposed, and they've kept it kind of quiet. And the NFLPA's continued to do it. And so I think now it was like, okay, the only way we can stop you is by actually legally filing a grievance that you're violating our contract. I will say that, so I think the report cards have been good. They've led to changes. We know that multiple different teams have built new team facilities, have changed out their entire chef staff and the way that the food that they serve and the things they offer and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, I know they've been good. I don't think that them being released to the public has made them better or has led to those changes. And I'll be fair, my big thing, I think that the general public absolutely does not care. Like,
no, they don't.
I don't care if I love the Saints. I don't care if the Saints players think the food that they are getting for free at their facility is good or not. I absolutely don't care. And I think it's hilarious that that question's even being asked.
Well,
like, the chef at the Saints facility isn't as good as my personal chef at home. Okay, shut up.
Don't think for a second that this doesn't fuel narratives, because I'll give you an example. I'm a Steeler fan. What they always say, that the facilities are cheap, and it's because they share a facility with the University of Pittsburgh. And everyone, what do they say? Art Rooney is cheap. He's a cheap owner. He won't even pay for their own facility. And I understand, and I agree that the vast majority of the general public could give two craps about what these report cards state. However, it does, especially from a media perspective, they take this information and they run with it. And they're like, look at what the players are saying about this, the Steelers. And then they can compare. That's the other crazy thing. They can compare this to, wow, the LA Rams at SoFi and by proxy, the Chargers have barber shops in their facilities, whereas the Steelers have wooden lockers. It's like, what are we doing?
Right.
I understand what you're saying, but I do think that I think they matter though, don't you? Like, don't you think if you're a free agent, you would want to value to see what other teams and what other players are saying about teams?
I think that sounds like a good narrative, but no, I mean, everybody's going where they get the most money.
I get
the
it.
most guaranteed
Yeah,
cut. Sure. It's easy to say that those things matter and like, oh, they cut this one guy and he was a veteran and people liked him. Nobody's ever going to sign with them. Okay.
Until they offer him the most
nobody's
money.
Nobody's going to use that as any type of negotiation tactic whatsoever. Remember when you cut this beloved veteran 2 years ago? I will say, you did ask why now. Maybe why now is that there's something in the, because this isn't the 2026 report card isn't out. Maybe the reason now is because in this year there are comments about San Francisco 49ers facility that the NFL is like, this isn't being put out to the public. We can have interviews and people speculating, but this isn't being put out there.
I love that you brought that up, and that's a great point because it's
the NFL involved in it. Like, because now we're talking about deleted text messages and stuff. Like, is the NFL involved in a cover up now? Because I don't believe this is real, but there's a little bit of things showing that maybe that the NFL at least thinks there might be something there. Like George Kittle's talking about trees dying, and then there started being some text messages, so they just came in and removed the trees, but it wasn't even the 49ers that removed the trees. It was the actual NFL funded the removing of the trees or something.
Yeah. Do you seriously think the NFL is above covering up anything? The organization that took the Spygate footage and didn't say that we need to put this behind a locked door.
They destroyed it.
They destroyed it because they knew that if that ever saw the light of day,
yeah, it'd probably stop Bill Belichick from getting in the Hall of Fame if something like that came out.
Exactly. Yeah, blackball him.
Listen, I don't think that this is real, that this is causing injuries or anything like that. But I believe that the NFL may have tried to delete some evidence that could cause people to speculate that it is, and that makes it look like it's real.
Well, I'll say this. I believe that every conspiracy theory in some way is rooted in truth. It might not be 100% truth, but where it originated, that there is some truth there. And so in that case, anyone doesn't know what Wesley is referring to is the fact that in Santa Clara, California, right near the 49ers facility, is it a data center? Is that exactly what it is that's there? I don't know.
Something that has a lot of electricity.
Yeah. So there's a lot of non-native EMFs, which is electronic frequencies, and the non-natives, because the earth contains electronic frequencies. That's why you should go and put your feet in the grass. But still, you get these non-native things, and it can cause issues within the human body. Been scientifically proven. Does it cause Achilles ruptures like George Kittle experienced at the end of the year? I don't know. Does it cause trees to die?
Does it cause people to sign contracts and never show up to play for the team? I don't know.
That's a great point. I think this is tied into Brandon Ayuk. I think Brandon Ayuk deserves a grievance of his own.
Does it cause you to get weak and drop to one knee suddenly when you're?
Oh my gosh, you're going there.
It could cause that. I don't know. It may
Shut up. We are not. No, cut the tape. We are not going there. But no, in all seriousness, did you have, when you read the report cards, and I'm sure you did at least probably see the Saints report card
for sure
every year. When you read it, were you like, man, this is fascinating? Or were you like, man, this is a bunch of BS. This is a bunch of dudes that are just bitching and moaning about they don't have childcare at the field during games. What was your take on the report cards?
My only ever take from these was that it was funny that New Orleans, which is one of the best food cities on the planet, was always was always rated the worst food at the sports facility. And New Orleans did a whole lot over the last couple of years to combat that. And I always thought that was hilarious. But I honestly, I can't tell you how much I don't care about if we're spoiling our millionaires enough.
Yeah.
I'm just so I don't take it all seriously. I think it's interesting. I think it's cool to see different things and all, but honestly, go get your own massage therapist if you don't like the one at the facility. I mean,
a lot of people do that.
Have someone else paint your shoes for you if you don't like the way they do it for free at the facility. I mean,
A lot of people get their own massage therapists.
For sure. Yeah, they do. Yeah, actually,
Even
wait. If you're an NFL player, do not get your own massage therapist.
Even
or if you're a Saints
owners,
player,
even
anybody else can do whatever you
owners.
want. Saints players, don't get your own massage therapist, please.
The Patriots have a Rolodex that the owner provides.
Is it weird? You got all these like strong guys, I'm sure, that have really strong hands, but like they're paying other people to massage them. Couldn't they just trade massages in the locker room?
That's disgusting. Anyways,
okay.
What did you think? I guess my last point here before we move off of the report cards. I don't know why the owners would be upset about this being made public. That's what I don't get. You know, you're being criticized by your employees. I just don't know why it matters so much to them.
I mean, I think it's just the violation of the contract. I mean, there's a reason it was put in the contract.
Yeah, no, I
think
that.
they're getting their feelings hurt about you're not honoring the contract. But it's also like I don't know if there's reciprocal ways that owners aren't coming out griping about the player and like, oh, look at can you imagine an owner like after each game, like having a highlight reel, like, look at the effort that number 92 gave on this play right here.
Have you you live in Dallas? Jerry Jones does this every week. He criticizes his players right after games in the tunnel.
Well, they haven't made the playoffs in a long time. But also Jerry's so old. He's like your 80-year-old like racist uncle that you're like, he can kind of get away with it because he's just old and cranky and crazy. And like he's not really like that. He doesn't really hate the players. He just says those things.
Yes, he does. He hates them. All right, we'll stop talking about the report cards. We'll see where that leads.
I give that section of the show a C+.
Okay, fair enough. Fair. I do think though, and I do want to tie this to transition into. I think that this is just the latest move, and I think there are some power moves being made. For sure. That this is leading up to the 2030 deadline for the next collective bargaining agreement. I'm pretty sure the owners are going to want to at least get to the negotiating table sooner than that. I'm pitting that at like 2028 to try and get them to, they're going to want that 18th game. They're already starting to push more international games. I was going to ask your take on the fact that they're playing a game in Melbourne, Australia. I believe it's in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And they're playing it on a Wednesday in week 1 before the kickoff game. It's just really strange stuff. Let's go back to the CBA though first. Do you think this is kind of part of the power struggle that's starting to happen with the NFL?
I think everything is a negotiation. I think that I would tell people that their jobs on like every meeting that you're having is a negotiation for your next raise or whatever. But every one of these things that's happening, and listen, that 2030 expiration is going to be here before they know it. And we know me and you've talked about on the show that whether it's contracts or these CBAs or whatever, that the deadlines is what gets deals done. And they're going to start now, but it's going to take a lot longer than anybody wants to get it there. To be fair too, like one of the things that's always the big problem with players is the average NFL career being less than 2 years. The players that are in the league right now won't be in the league in 2030.
Yeah.
A large portion of them. So a third of them will not be playing in the league. So it's going to change of what people want, what people need, what they're willing to vote on, and what they're willing to be talked into for that money.
The biggest sticking point to me is going to be if the owners try to take more of the pie. And you've said before that you think they're going to try. 100%. I think that's going to be if players should never agree to less than their 50% cut. And they keep making more money. Why would we give up more than that? What are you going to do for us? You're going to add a game and give us less money? Why would
they raise the salary cut by significant amounts every year?
Well, yeah, but that's like because over the next more 3 money
and 4 years, it's going to continue to get even crazier and crazier. We're talking about a $400 million cap in a couple of years.
Yeah, but the fact is that they're making more money, which allows the cap to go up.
Sure. This is just a weird thing. So we have the NFL and the NFLPA. They both will hold out their TV contracts to the highest bidder so that us as the fans have to have 5 or 6 different streaming services to watch games and pay more and more for those streaming services to watch games, or pay a lot to the NFL to be able to stream, whatever it is. So they negotiate those, which causes them to get more income, which causes their salary cap to go up significantly. But then also the way that you're talking about the pie, I think that it's just getting to where the TV contracts are so expensive. now the pie is so large that the owners can't justify seeing half of the pie going to the players anymore when they're getting their salary cap in the way it's done. Additionally, I mean, running an NFL franchise is more expensive than ever now. They're talking about the operating costs are through the roof. Any kind of building of new facilities and maintenance of facilities is way more expensive than it used to be. All those kind of things. So I think that they're seeing that adjust in real time and they're wanting to make adjustments. The only way the players keep the split right where it is now is adding the 18th game. I mean, that's the negotiating factor for both sides is where the money comes from.
Yeah, we'll see. And we'll probably do a whole podcast about that later.
Sure.
But
in 2029,
you got it. Yeah, let's stick to 2026. I've always believed that if there's big name trades that are going to happen in the NFL, the majority of them would happen before the draft. We know the draft is at the end of April,
unless you're Jerry Jones.
Oh, right.
then you wait till the season starts.
Well, true. And more than one occasion, because he traded with the Steelers with George Pickens, two picks, a third and a fifth in 2027. That was after the draft. There's some big names out there that people think might get moved. And I still believe that is kind of that deadline of they're going to want to do it before the draft. Let's talk about a couple of these names that are being floated around. And I want you to give me your honest take on whether you think this is legitimate, that if the price is right, they could be moved, or if it's just complete malarkey. Let's start with Max Crosby. I think he's the one that's been talked about the most out in Vegas. What do you think about Max Crosby being dealt to another team?
I mean, I think that if the Raiders are sitting there saying if somebody's going to match the Micah Parsons trade, then we're in. I don't see that happening. I think that was a huge trade and it shocked the league.
What was the Parsons trade? I'm trying to think how many firsts that was.
I thought it was 2 firsts. I don't have it in front of me though.
I'll look it up. Go ahead.
But I just think I don't think it gets to that point. Max was unhappy, told him what he was unhappy with, but I think in just time's going to heal that wound. Listen, they thought they were looking out for his best interest. If you're injured, we don't want you to get more injured. Don't play the last game. He's a competitive guy who always wants to fight. I think once he has a conversation with Clint Kubiak, I think that's going to calm him down. I think he's going to want to be part of where this franchise is going and what they're doing. I think all that calms down.
Okay, so here's what the trade details was, because you said a Micah Parsons deal. Dallas received a 2026 first rounder, a 2027 first rounder, and also got defensive tackle Kenny Clark. The contract that Micah Parsons signed with Green Bay was 4 years, $188 million. 136 of that was guaranteed, 120 million fully guaranteed at signing. And there was also a poison pill addendum added to this that if the Packers trade,
right, they couldn't trade him to the Eagles.
They couldn't trade him to an NFC East team, or else they'd have to give up a 2028 first round pick. I love how they called that the poison pill. I don't think a deal gets done in this regard. I think Max Crosby wants to be in Vegas. He wants the Raiders to succeed. Man, he is the lifeline of that team. So you think he stays?
I do think he stays.
Okay, I do too. Let's go to a name that was just, I've been seeing this more in the last 48 hours than I ever thought I would. CJ Stroud, Houston Texans. There's people saying that he hasn't played well since his rookie year. Let's be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. And his playoff performance, including the win in Pittsburgh, was not pretty. What do you think about the thought of the Texans moving on from CJ Stroud?
I think it would be dumb, and I think there's a 0% chance of it happening.
Okay. The fact that they had a backup lead them to 5 wins this year doesn't change anything for you?
I mean, he had a terrible playoff game. Before that, they won a bunch of games in a row too with him playing. It's I couldn't see that getting going anywhere.
Okay, I agree with you.
It's also not the kind of guy D'Amico Ryans is either.
Right. This is the one that you kind of laughed at. That I think there's more legitimacy to this than most, and that's Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's contract is a nightmare right now. I mean, a nightmare. I believe his cap hit is over $70 million in 2026 if they just ride it out the way that they are. And everyone assumes, Steve Bisciotti, the owner of the Ravens, even said so before they hired Jesse Minter, the head coach, that they want to get a deal done. Lamar Jackson has no agent. He is his own agent. That matters. And I think that the Ravens, I say Raiders because I'm going to bring them up in a second. The Ravens, if they're going to make a trade for their quarterback, it would have to be probably with the Las Vegas Raiders. That's probably the only team that could give them what they feel they would want. But if there was ever a time to do it, it would be now. New head coach, new coaching staff. You're trying to turn the page. Maybe you're not happy with paying a guy that never has gotten you even to the game, let alone won the game. Yes, he's been an MVP, but that doesn't, that's an individual award. We're looking for team success. I know you don't think so, but I think I think Lamar Jackson's a quarterback that if the Ravens got the right deal, they would consider it.
Yeah, I'm not saying that the Ravens wouldn't consider it. I don't doubt that. I two things. One, I couldn't see the Raiders doing that. I think they're going to be Clint Kubiak's there to make Fernando Mendoza and Ashton Genty work together, and I think that's going to be a real exciting combination. And again, so the Ravens would do it. Was it 2 or 3 years ago? Lamar Jackson was essentially sort of a free agent where he was able to field deals, and the Ravens could match. And Lamar Jackson, all these people when this started was like, oh, there's going to be teams lining up to offering the max deal, and the Ravens are going to have to max it or match it and all this kind of stuff. He got no contract offers. Now, some of that was because teams weren't going to do the negotiating for the Ravens because it wasn't ever really expected for him to leave. But some of that is not every team's going to redesign their entire team because you have to make your team Lamar Jackson friendly for it to work with Lamar Jackson. He is now older. He is now more injured. He has had more losses since then. I just can't see anybody lining up for him today at his contract that you would have to absorb.
Yeah.
For that, I mean, he didn't get that big offer, whatever, 2 or 3 years ago when it would have maybe made sense for somebody to go, okay, here's I'm going $1 million over the Deshaun Watson deal and guaranteed money. Let's see if I can get Lamar Jackson, or I can bankrupt the Ravens by making a match.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think that Lamar, he's such a unique case because like you said, you do have to kind of tailor your entire offense around him. And that's why I feel like if there's one team that would do it, it would be the Raiders. Well, they're the Raiders. 2, they have the capital that the Ravens might actually want. And so if Clint Kubiak says, I've got this nice running back, Ashton Genty, we're building this thing out. We could build a team that we feel like fits what we need for him. I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if it ever came to fruition, but I'm also not going to predict that it does. That's where I'll leave that. All right. What about Jalen Hurts? This is getting a lot of play in and around the Philadelphia area. There's people that are assuming that A.J. Brown is going to be dealt, but there's some that are saying maybe it's Jalen Hurts that gets dealt instead. I kind of leaves the cupboard bare unless you believe in Tanner McKee as the future quarterback of the Eagles. I don't think there's anything.
Didn't Colin McCord there?
Who?
Colin McCord?
I thought he got cut last year. Or maybe he was a practice squad guy.
Thought he was still there, but I don't know.
Anyways, I don't think Jalen Hurts is going anywhere. Do you?
No, but I do think that we see A.J. Brown go to the Bills.
Think so.
That would be huge for them.
It would be. I'm not saying it wouldn't be, but I mean, you think that?
I think that's a deal that just makes perfect sense. He's not as crazy as Stephon Diggs, who they got rid of because he didn't work in Buffalo, but he's just as dang good.
And he's crazy though. I mean, if A.J. Brown doesn't get the ball,
they might need a little bit of crazy.
I mean, they need receiving help. I mean, when
they need
Khalil Shakir is your best receiver, like that says everything you need to know.
That ain't doing it.
Keon Coleman was a healthy scratch. He was a first-round pick for them.
Multiple games.
Yes. That would be, man, I wonder what they would have to give up to get him.
That I don't know.
I mean, when they traded with Tennessee, like it was a lot of compensation to get. That was a draft day trade.
Yeah,
I wonder if he would be moved again.
Was it like the 16th overall pick or 14th overall pick that they traded for him?
I'd have to look that up. Are you looking it up or am I looking it up? It doesn't matter. I do want to bring this up as well before we call it a show, and that is the fact that we're entering the transition to the tagging period. Now, you said last year only 2 players were tagged, correct?
Yep, Trey Smith and T. Higgins.
Okay, listen to some of these numbers. And, the window opens Tuesday. is when the window opens. So by the time you hear this or see this, it's already happened. To franchise tag or transition tag. So here are the numbers by position. Quarterback, $47.4 million. Wide receiver, 28. Offensive line, 27.8. Linebacker, 27.6. Defensive tackle, 27.4. Defensive end, 26.7. Cornerback, 20.8. That's the same with safety. Tight end, only 16 million. Running back, 14.2. And a kicker punter, 6.8 million. That's a lot of money. There's already been talks of Kenneth Walker getting a transition tag, not being franchise tagged. They're not sure if they can keep all those free agents they have in Seattle, just to name a few. What are your thoughts on all those numbers?
So, I mean, I think the one that would make me upset to be tagged in is probably wide receiver at 28, because, you know, you've got quite a few NFL contracts over 30 million. But I mean, I think that we're going to be the over. I'm going to take the over. If last year it was 2, I'm going to go over a number of people that get tagged this year.
Yeah. You think over 2?
I think oh for sure.
I don't know. It depends on the type of tag too. If it's a franchise tag or a transition tag, because it gives the team a little bit more of an option as it pertains to what they can do and what they can't do. But these numbers they keep going up, and it's because it's an average based on salary of all those players at the position. So
I think that Kenneth Walker makes a lot of sense, but John Schneider does not use tags. Like he doesn't like tagging players, and I don't know if he ever has tagged a player. So that one I think that one makes a lot of sense. But I mean, Kenneth Walker's at the highest his value will ever be right now.
Yeah. That's going to be an interesting one to watch, because if you look at the Seahawks, like if you look at free agency, which is not very good, it's not very deep this year. If you're looking for help for whatever team you follow in free agency, I've been doing a lot of articles for our website about positions of need. It's very thin. We'll put it that way. And so he's someone that would be at the top of the running back market if he hits the free agent market. And so we'll see what they do. And there's a lot of other names out there. Trey Hendrickson, I know of the Bengals. Some Bengals fans are talking about franchise tagging him. I don't know if that fits. What are your final thoughts on all that?
Yeah, I don't see the Bengals doing Trey Hendrickson. I do think George Pickens gets the franchise tag, but that's kind of been out there. I could see ETN getting the tag in Jacksonville. If not, Devin Lloyd could, because he's linebacker coming off a great season. I think the Colts use the tag. I think it's probably with Daniel Jones, but like I could see them using on Alec Pierce.
I was gonna say I heard Pierce.
I hope they have to use it on Jones, because I want the Saints to sign Alec Pierce. So I mean, there's a few people out there. I saw some Kyle Pitts stuff because he finally had a good season for the first time in his career. And I guess you don't want to give him a long-term deal. So that would kind of make sense. And then of course, Breece Hall was a big name for the Jets to franchise tag as well. So there's a number of people.
Breece Hall would have to be so pissed if he gets franchise tagged by the Jets. Like, this is his chance to get out. And then, come on, like that would suck for him, because I think he's a really good player and he's been stuck in a really bad situation for a long time.
Running backs, it kind of works for, though, because like if you're a running back like Breece Hall, yes, you're wanting a multi-year deal, but you're probably only going to get 2 years of it guaranteed, and then kind of options, maybe 3, but you're going to get about $11 million a year guaranteed. The franchise tag's 14.5, so you're getting 1 1/3 year's pay for what, I don't know. Still, you want the long-term money. I get it.
Yeah.
But if you stay healthy through that franchise tag, it's a really good franchise tag.
That's the key question, is if you stay healthy. So
Kenneth Walker should not bet on that. Kenneth Walker definitely should want to. He hasn't missed a lot of time, but he's had nagging injuries before this year. So.
All right, man, it's been a good show. We're going to table our cut candidates for next week. We'll do that next week. And I think that'll be a very time-consuming effort on our part, is to look at some of these players that are going to be released if they haven't been released yet.
Hopefully Wesley, none of them get cut in the next week and then ruin the show.
It will. It just works out that way. But anyways, what's coming up on the Dome Patrol podcast?
Not much. It's Fat Tuesday when we're recording this, Mardi Gras. So New Orleans is kind of shut down with that. All the Saints news is that Drew Brees is throwing from floats left-handed, and Tyler Shuck is throwing too hard and pegging people. It's been pretty awesome to see what's going on there. But it'll be kind of slow for a couple of weeks, and then we'll really get into draft coverage over the next few weeks. But you can find us on in all your streaming platforms at Dome Patrol Podcast. You can find us on X at Dome Patrol PCast. You can find me at Wesley13. Jeff, where can we find you in your Steelers quarterback search coverage?
Yeah, you had me talking about Derek Carr. I had to write an article about Derek Carr the other day, which made me want to. I threw up in my mouth as I was typing the words, but still,
we'll trade him for a first. You got
first, my ass. You can find me on Twitter at jhartman HARTMAN_PIT. I'll be leading Scotty Scheffler's army in the next few weeks for the golf PGA Tour. I do talk about that sometimes, but also Steel Curtain Network. Wherever you get your podcast, steelcurtainnetwork.com. Wesley, another good show. Enjoy your rest of your week, man. We'll talk next week. Take it easy.
See you next week.